So to begin this guided erotic meditation, maybe it seems interesting, first of all, maybe just take a moment to check in and see, are you cozy right now? And is there anything that you might be able to do to create a little more comfort in your experience? So maybe that's more pillows, maybe that's having a sip of water or tea, maybe it's changing the lighting. Yeah, first and foremost, just addressing your own comfort and ensuring that you're cozy and comfortable. And from that point, perhaps taking a moment to notice the fact that you have a body. And if it seems interesting, to notice some things about this body. Maybe notice that you might have some legs, you might have a torso, you might have some number of arms, you might have some kind of face, perhaps some number of ears. Just all in all, just taking stock of the fact that, right, yeah, there's this thing and it's called a body. Perhaps exploring that body just on the outside with your hands or your mind's eye. Just, yeah, there, yep, ears, check. Yeah, shoulders, toes. And if it seems interesting from this point, perhaps visiting the inside of your body. Perhaps noticing this internal world that exists inside yourself. And maybe beginning with noticing that there's this head and this internal experience of a head, and just seeing what's happening inside, behind your face, in between your ears. Just checking to see if there are any sensations, any textures, any colors, movement of energy. And perhaps moving down to then check inside of your neck, or your shoulders. Let's have a peek. What are you noticing and what are you not noticing? And perhaps moving down and visiting your chest. Again, just having a look around. We're not here to fix things. We're not here to should ourselves. We're just noticing right now. And perhaps also noticing whatever there is or isn't there to notice in your tummy, lower abdomen, or along your back. Maybe checking to see if you notice your breath. Notice the memories of old meals, or if there are any sensations or emotions in this part of your body. And if it feels right, moving from the stomach and the abdomen down into the pelvis. Just checking to see what you notice. Textures, temperatures, Whatever you notice or don't notice is perfect as is. Again, right now we're just having a neutral, curiosity-based exploration of what's happening inside our bodies. And moving from the pelvis down the legs, exploring the upper legs, the thighs, exploring further down into the calves and shins. What are you noticing and what are you not noticing? And finishing this preliminary curiosity journey in the feet. Again, just having a peek around. What is happening? What am I experiencing inside my feet? And from this point, maybe having a revisit of your body to check and see if there's anywhere in your body that's feeling neutral or pleasurable. Looking around at some of these spots that we've visited, checking to see, is there anything in here that's feeling neutral or pleasurable? And take your time with this. It might be the smallest little piece of information, or it might feel very clear to you. Is there anything that's feeling neutral or pleasurable in my body? And if you find a spot that's feeling neutral or pleasurable, if it feels right, perhaps taking some time to visit this part of the body. It's really noticing what information is telling you that there's perhaps some pleasure or some neutrality in this area. Is this area warm or cool? Are there textures and sensations that are communicating pleasure to you? Are there stories or memories flashing that communicate that the sensation is pleasurable or neutral for you? And spending some time really savoring this experience, really spending energy and spending attention, sending it towards this pleasurable internal experience. Perhaps even using your breath, if it feels right, to offer a little energy and a little expansion to this internal experience of pleasure. Getting curious about how big or how small this experience of pleasure wants to be right now. And perhaps noticing this opportunity that we're exploring right now to cultivate an internal experience of neutrality or pleasure. That through this practice of turning our mind's eye inwards, and slowly and curiously exploring the body, perhaps there's pleasure to be found. And perhaps that pleasure is something that can be savored and cultivated. And that this experience of pleasure is actually available to us at any given time if it feels right to visit this practice. And that this experience of pleasure is also something that can be expanded and cultivated, perhaps with breath, perhaps with imagination, as well as with movement. And if it seems right, perhaps exploring if there's any movement that would support this experience of pleasure, nurture it. And also we have the opportunity to expand pleasure, perhaps using touch. And again, if it seems interesting, what happens if touch is included in this meditation and this exploration of internal pleasure? And of course, provided it feels interesting for you, sound can also be a wonderful way to cultivate and nurture sensations of pleasure. So yes, if it is interesting to take perhaps a few more moments, focusing your mind's eye on this internal experience of pleasure and seeing if there are other practices such as breath, sound, touch, movement, or imagination to expand, to shift, to cultivate, or to minimize and narrow experiences of pleasure, that we have these tools available to us and what is possible when we explore these tools. And whenever it's feeling right, perhaps to close, slowly disengaging from this internal experience, perhaps thanking this experience of pleasure if that feels right, or otherwise finding your own way to close this erotic meditation. And coming back into relationship with the screen. So my hope in offering this erotic meditation is to offer a tool that can be used in situations that range from perhaps exploring play with someone else or play with yourself, as well as situations like, being on the bus or being in a crappy work meeting or having a hard day, that if we explore our bodies, is there a resource of pleasure that is living within us at that given time? So that is the offering that I would like to share. And I hope that you enjoyed this meditation.